The Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam has been tabled in the Lok Sabha. It is historic, yet saddening. Why saddening? Because since many decades, since 1989, this concept of reserving seats for women in the parliament has remained in a limbo. Finally, we may see it being implemented, but not earlier than 2027. We are going to discuss why. We are going to also talk about the intricacies and details of it, the significance of women participation in politics, also, what has been the reason behind a lack of proper representation of women in Indian politics. We are also going to compare the politics around the world when it comes to women's participation and India. From the perspective of GS mains paper, second and third, it is very important that you understand this class till the very end. Now, do not worry about making notes because I provide the notes through my Telegram channel. That is by the name of Pooja Divedi, UPSC. You can be a subscriber to this. You can also talk to me on my Instagram if you have any suggestions, request, strategy making, anything regarding UPSC examination, and also follow me on Threads. Now, this particular bill was given a go ahead at a key cabinet meeting. And finally, this has seen the day of the light in Lok Sabha. I will discuss the history as well. Let's talk about the detailed provisions of it. It is going to reserve 33% seats for women in the Lok Sabha, state legislative assemblies, and also Delhi Assembly. Mind you, the quota won't apply to Rajya Sabha and State Legislative Council. So, okay, it's a piecemeal, we can say it is a piecemeal step in the right direction. But why has not it been implemented for Rajya Sabha and the State Legislative Council? This we need more clarification on. From the set quota, 1/3 shall be reserved for women from the scheduled caste and the scheduled tribes. So that means it will be a sub quota within that 33%. Also remember that. Reservation of seats shall come into effect after delimitation is undertaken after the relevant figures for the first census have been published. Now, according to Article 82 of the Indian Constitution, which was amended in the year 2002, it was said that the delimitation exercise could take place only after 2026. So, this is the reason why I have been saying that no earlier than 2027 this particular bill will be effective. Alright, and rotation of the seats reserved for women in Lok Sabha and state assemblies shall take place after each subsequent exercise of delimitation, so that proper representation is given to each constituency. No two women MPs will be allowed to contest one seat, and the bill excludes reservation for women from the OBC category. And this has remained the main bone of contention why so many parties were against this particular bill since so many years. But many parties have voted in favor of this particular bill. Now, the government has said that the bill is aimed at enabling greater participation of women in policy making at the state as well as the national levels, and the bill has been pending for nearly 27 years. The history is important here, but this is the Constitution 128th Amendment Bill 2023, and as nearly as maybe 1/3, that is 33%, which includes the seats reserved for scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, of the total number of seats to be filled by direct election to House of the People shall be reserved for women. It is going to introduce two articles, Article 330A and Article 332A to the Constitution. And these new provisions will introduce changes for the seats in the Lok Sabha and the assemblies respectively. Alright, and remember that this reservation will cease to exist after 15 years of implementation. Supposedly it will be effective from 2027, then 2027 plus 15 years. However, it can be renewed like we did for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. Alright, now the history goes back to the 108th Amendment Bill of 2008. Earlier we saw that these bills were introduced in the Lok Sabha, and because of their introduction in the Lok Sabha, when dissolution of parliament happened, dissolution of the Lok Sabha happened, not parliament, because Rajya Sabha is a continuing body, then if that bill is pending in the Rajya Sabha also got dissolved. Now, this particular bill was introduced by the UPA first government, which was led by Dr. Manmohan Singh ji, and that was the rationale behind it, that we must introduce it in the Rajya Sabha so that it doesn't get dissolved according to the Lok Sabha. So that is why the Women's Reservation Bill has remained alive, very well alive in so many years, since so many years. Moving on, I have already told you many of these things. Now let's talk about the history. The seat of women reservation in the parliament, or at the urban and the local level, it was introduced as a concept for the first time when Rajiv Gandhi, the former Prime Minister of India, did so in 1989. He also brought a constitution amendment bill to give 1/3 reservation to women in rural and urban local bodies. It was passed in the Lok Sabha, however, it failed to get passed in the Rajya Sabha. In 1992-1993, according to the Constitution Amendment Bill 72 and 73, P.V. Narasimha Rao was able to get 1/3 of the seats reserved for all seats and chairperson posts for women in rural and urban local bodies. That was very impactful. Nearly 15 lakh elected women representatives in panchayats and nagar palikas across the country could come into the picture. Now, September 12, 1996, Deve Gowda led United Front government. According to the 81st Constitutional Amendment Bill in Lok Sabha, it was introduced. Then it was referred to the Joint Parliamentary Committee, which was chaired by Geeta Mukherjee ma'am. And then what happened? That there was a dissolution of the Lok Sabha. In 1998, the Atal Bihari Vajpayee led NDA government. Also keep in mind that in December 1996, this report was submitted by the Geeta Mukherjee committee. And then when the Vajpayee government came into existence, it pushed again the Women's Reservation Bill, but it was not passed. Again, it was reintroduced 1999, 2002 and 2003. But it never got passed because there was a clear lack of political will. There was something or the other that came into the way of women leading from the front when it comes to the parliament. Now, on 6th May 2008, the UPA government first, which was led by Dr. Manmohan Singh ji, he made it very clear that we are going to include it in our common minimum program. And this was the rationale behind it. They introduced this bill, 108 Constitutional Amendment Bill, in the Rajya Sabha so that it doesn't get dissolved if, the Lok Sabha gets dissolved in nature. I have also attached a question. So make sure you are watching carefully. Then you can answer the prelims question with me. Okay? Rajya Sabha, I have told you this. 5 of the 7 recommendations made by Geeta Mukherjee committee, it was accepted, 2 were not. Standing committee, it was again referred to, and then it couldn't, get passed later on as well. It was in a limbo again. It was eventually passed in the Rajya Sabha, but was never taken up for consideration in the Lok Sabha. Bills which are introduced and passed in the Rajya Sabha do not lapse. Remember that. So, this is a prelims question for you. This is not the end of the class. I have many more things to tell you. Consider the following statements with reference to Parliament in India. Bills passed by the Lok Sabha and pending before the Rajya Sabha do not lapse after dissolution of Lok Sabha. Bills originating in Rajya Sabha and pending before Lok Sabha lapse after dissolution of Lok Sabha. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? You have to answer it correctly, okay? So, yes, P2I batches are being launched from 22nd of September. This is an evening batch. I have told you the features many times. I will repeat it. GS plus CSAT ethics essay language papers plus prelims test series, mains test series, answer writing practice and a study IQ campus program for those students who are going to qualify prelims 2024. Everything is included. So it's available in English. It's a hybrid batch, Hindi and English and Hindi. If you're interested in it, please make sure you take admission as soon as possible because these will be live classes. And use the code PDLive. This is applicable not only for P2I batches but all the batches. Any batch you can take with the help of this code. So you will get a discount. Now, first Lok Sabha elections, we go back to it. There were just 4% MPs that were women. 22 women out of 489 seats. Then highest ever women record has been made in 2019 with 78 women MPs. And this is 14.36%. Women MPs constitute still less than 15% of the Lok Sabha and below 10% in many state assemblies. Below 10% include, as of December 2022, Andhra Pradesh, Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Goa, Gujarat, Himachal Pradesh, Karnataka, Kerala, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Manipur, Meghalaya, Odisha, Sikkim, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Tripura and Puducherry. Also, if we talk about Bihar, Haryana, Punjab, Rajasthan, Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh and Delhi, here women MLAs, members of the Legislative Assembly, are between 10 to 12%. That means from these many states, these one are better. Now, some states have led from the front when it comes to women representation in the legislative assemblies. Chhattisgarh tops with 14.44%, West Bengal 13.7%, and Jharkhand 12.35%. Why have I told you this? Because in prelims examination, there could be a question. Which states have a representation of less than 10% in the state legislative assemblies? Names will be given one after the other. Cut, 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 cut. Now you have to select one only, two only, one and two, like that, whatever the options may be. So another important aspect is that the Inter-Parliamentary Union has said that India was ranked 149th out of 193 nations in its research when it comes to percentage of women who serve in the lower house of the parliament. Please read this carefully so that a question, whenever it is asked in prelims, it can be answered by you. In the Global Gender Gap Report of 2022, India was ranked 135th out of 146 countries. 2022 is important, 2021 is important, 2023 is important. Okay, moving on. Now, if we talk about the world, there is only a representation of 26.5% of parliamentarians in single or lower house. These are women. Only 6 countries have at least 50% or more than 50% women representation in their houses, lower houses specifically. Rwanda is first. Cuba, Nicaragua, Mexico, New Zealand, UAE, not any European country. You can see that New Zealand is still something that we can get, used to, but these countries, they are still better than USA, Canada, and which are the not country that, we hail as very developed. A further 23 countries, they have either reached or surpassed the 40% of representation. 13 countries in them have been from Europe, 6 in Africa, 3 in Latin America and the Caribbean, and only 1 in Asia. At this current rate of progress, gender parity in national legislative bodies will not be achieved by the year 2063. We have to move faster. Now, why do we need women in our parliament? Women hold up half of the sky. First is efficiency. Do you know that there have been, in the times of COVID, there have been certain countries such as Germany, New Zealand and Taiwan, whose leaders were women, and they have fared much better in the control of COVID. Specifically, if we talk about the USA, in those states where the governors have been female, it has performed better than their male counterparts. Then, women-centric approach. We know that whenever there is a representation of women, they will try to make policies which are favoring women, which are ensuring that women be at par with men. See, feminism, I have told you time and again, it's not women are above men or women, it means male bashing. It's nothing as of such. This is a wrong connotation that some people have done. But it's about both the genders being equal of opportunity, equal of economic opportunity, political opportunity, representation. In the household work as well, we have always trained our daughters to do both the household work, and yes, it's okay if you go to offices as well. But what about males? The males in the house, they are okay with office works, but they were never trained to do the household chores. When we, treat both the genders equally on these grounds, it will be much better. So this is what feminism is. Feminism is basically gender equality, not females are above males or not neither male bashing. Okay, that's not what it means. So women-centric approach is needed. In here, we saw that female pradhans are focused more on topics such as public restrooms, self-help organization, domestic abuse. Also, there is a contrast between suffrage and political presence. Although in our country, women have got the vote to write, accordingly, there was no such thing as that we provided the vote to write at a later stage of our independence. That's not so. But still, their representation in the politics was not favorable. International relationship, we see that women make up 2% of the mediators, 8% of the negotiators, and 5% of the peace process witnesses. Also, 60% of any quality talk lasts if it is led by a woman, at least 15 years, and 35% fail. Okay. Recording effect is also there because there is an improvement in the officials' receptivity to the request of the underprivileged. Supposedly, there is there have been a high number of rape cases that are being recorded. If a woman is leading from the front, any state or any department, then the officers under her will be more receptive towards such request to break the vicious cycle. This is a vicious cycle that we are into. Lack of political representation means lack of proper policy making. Lack of proper policy making means lack of upliftment. Lack of upliftment means more poverty for women. So this is a vicious cycle that we have to break. Now, the problem is that majority of the population of females remain illiterate as compared to their male counterparts. This is one of the significant reasons why women fail to be represented properly. There is also a lack of political will. Just imagine for 27 years, a bill had to wait to be even properly tabled in any one of the houses. Just the lack of political will says it all. There is masking of identity. There is also patriarchy that women should not go out of their homes, they belong to the kitchen and whatnot. Even on social media, you will see a lot of comments which are very reactionary in nature, and that's not how it should be. If you open up your minds, you will be better able to judge everything else. Gender disparity is a lot in the education sector as well. There is a lack of women participation in some other places. When it comes to job opportunity, there is a lot of gender disparity. Also, it is very probable that a woman wouldn't be paid as equal to her male counterpart. In many offices, it is seen. Lack of confidence and finance as well, because there is no proper financing of women education. This leads to lack of confidence. There is sexual division of labor. Women should do the primary household work, men should just do the outside chores. This is not how it should be. A woman is not born, she is made, like we know it. Slander and abuse, we also see. I can just point out to the case of Jayalalitha ma'am. And when she entered into politics, how hard, such a hard life she had to follow after that. So, when women become a part of the politics, they are very open to slander and abuse. Now, we have to change as people, as society. We have to ensure that women are more welcomed in any spaces that they go, be it their homes, be it their offices, be it anywhere. Even on the internet, you must make a woman feel more valued rather than bashing her. I'm talking about each and every woman, be it content creator. Of course, that content should be healthy, but make sure that you make everybody feel welcome. This is how it should be. Okay. So now I hope you will answer that last question. Also, let's talk about what is the future. The bill will be brought in the ongoing session. It already has been brought. The implementation is unlikely to be before the next Lok Sabha election. I've already broken down this to you because of the delimitation exercise. Alright, so answer that question. Let me, take the names of those students who have answered the last question correctly. Prabhat, no, it's option D actually. Yamini, Shubham, Shiraz, Riya, Barkha, Murli, Mukul, Mansi, Manoj, Simran, Lavkesh, Arup Das, Ritu. Thank you so much for answering that question. Answer this one as well. I will see you in the next class. Thank you.